So, Anthem released in early access on the 15th of February and will be fully released on the 22nd for the main launch. Also, sometime in March, the first DLC segment starts and will be called Act 1 Echoes of Reality. First, I want to bring up the fact that this is an honest review. As such, I have been looking around on YouTube waiting for opinions to surface regarding this game. Just from looking today, I have noticed that a few big channels are already starting to bash this game, just like Fallout 76. But unlike Fallout 76, this game has a lot of beauty to it and a lot to look forward to. Just so that we are clear, this is a AAA game created by BioWare, the creators of the well-received Dragon Age, and as well as the issue-riddled Mass Effect Andromeda. Many of those issues from those games are not actually found here in Anthem, which is a very, very welcoming sight. The first and major thing about the game that I'll talk about is the visuals. Now, unlike some people with a lot of money, I am running an RX 580 8GB video card, which is basically the equivalent to a 1070. That being said, I do not notice much, if any, stutter in the game, even at almost 4K resolution. I am getting 30 frames per second stated by Origin overlay, but unlike other games, there is no noticeable lag or stutter. So not only does the game look really good, but it also runs very smoothly. And for a game on launch day, that is a very, very big compliment, and something we rarely see in games these days. Just look at Fallout 76 or Mass Effect Andromeda that had loads of issues on day one. That being said, every place that I venture to in this game feels like a real world, something tangible. The premise of the landscape is obviously quick to change and sometimes random, which suits the story very nicely, with long vertical drops and seemingly random open spaces filled to the brim with life, vegetation, and structures. The map just feels like a chaotic relic of something lost in time, with games like Battle Royales and other shooters that can be very minimalistic in their detail. Even uninteresting areas in this game feel like they once had purpose and meaning. So let's move on to something a lot of people are upset about: Fort Tarsis. Now, at first glance, Fort Tarsis is a very small and somewhat simple area, making it feel kind of like a kid stuck in a small alleyway. However, as I ventured through the walkways and alleys, around the fountain in the marketplace, I was baffled at the amount of love and detail put into it. Yes, the area was small, but teeming with vegetation and detail. The fort is very old, and it shows. And the walls, stairs, and buildings all are marred by time and the presence of people that are living there. Instead of getting the expected copy-paste and reuse textures like in most games, it feels as if someone actually placed these stones one by one long ago, and that's something you don't see in video games these days. Adding a whole bunch of detail is considered unnecessary and something that doesn't really need to be addressed. So once I was able to compose myself, I started talking to the NPCs around the fort, and at first it seemed like a chore. Something I was going to loathe and hate, skipping the dialogue just to get to the next mission. However, I found myself playing alone more and more. Without the constant chatter on Discord in my ear, I started what could only be described as one of my very favorite parts of this game. Now, before you get upset, listen to what I have to say. These people have their own mini-stories and issues outside of the main story. Some even become missions that you get to play later. This is something that BioWare has always done in their games, and it really shows here, and that's something that should not be overlooked. I found myself anxious to return to Fort Tarsis after a difficult mission, just so I could see where the story of these people were going. On many occasions, I was able to get many laughs from some of the quirkiness of these NPCs, like a young woman in the fort that has a soft spot for any wild animal baby, no matter how dangerous or detrimental to her or others else it can be, or a poor old lady that is so wrapped up in sadness and guilt that she mistakes you for her son, and even a random guy standing in a bar that is so bored that he wants to play word games with you to pass the time. It pains me that some people may have skipped all of these conversations to progress faster in the game when they are honestly so well made that sometimes they even tie in together and two stories join each other to create a new one. This is something special, something that you should definitely take your time and enjoy. Now that we have covered the visuals and the NPCs, I'll go over the customization and weapons. Now at first glance, seeing all these things you can do, from painting your javelin to decals, even slots for armor effects, there is a lot to do here. You can change the textures of your javelin to metal, rubber, or even a fabric texture. Equip weapons that, depending on your playstyle, can help you focus on one or many different enemies. Now, many people say that there are not a lot of weapons currently at the launch of the game, and they're right. There's not a lot of weapons. Maybe 6 or 7, maybe a few more give or take. However, if you are like me, you're only going to use 2 or 3 of these weapons anyway. The heavy pistol, for example, is very good for damage and quickfire. The sniper can either use explosive rounds or regular ones, so you may chunk your high damage sniper rifle just to get one that does more explosive damage, which tends to be a lot better. Also, if you're a tank, there are 2 or 3 unique guns that you can use, but where the game really shines is in its extra equipment, most of which give you a huge defensive bonus while increasing the damage of a weapon, or how long something can operate, or its effectiveness. The weapons tend to feel more like something from Borderlands, where the additional effects and buffs are random and not static for every weapon, but that these are the things that you're wanting the weapon for. This means that you can get many weapons that do not fit your playstyle or just aren't a good fit for you at the moment. But when you get the ones that do, you really cherish them and don't want to let go of them. For example, you may run out of ammo constantly with the weapon you're using, just to find that there's a new one later with a 50% increase in ammo for that or your other weapon that you have on hand. So you can put a lot of thought into how you want your javelin to function later. This stands true for each and every javelin, as the blueprints and the drops you get mostly are for specific javelins that you're using at that time. This is exciting because you can do whatever you want given what the items you have with the right effects. That being said, I do look forward to the future of BioWare and Anthem. They could add new javelins or new effects or new weapons or expand upon the weapons that they already have. They have so many options of what they can do. This is just the launch. Technically, this isn't even the launch yet. There's still a few days until we reach that point. So, for your question, is this game worth buying? Yes. Yes, it is. I would definitely recommend it. Now, it may not be the Battle Royale or Call of Duty game that you're used to, but having fun with friends while flying around and creating a whole bunch of explosions, while eradicating enemies that have become gradually more and more difficult, while trying out new weapons and new javelins, honestly is a blast, and it's probably something that you'll come back to this game just to play for that fact alone. This game is meant to be a PvE game that can be hard or easy. Whether you want to burn the midnight oil or just jump in for a mission, this game is worth it. With the DLC being free and releasing in March, at least the first of which that we'll see, plus the fact that Origin Premiere allows you to buy the game for $16 because it comes with the Premiere. And you get all of the bonuses with that as well. It is worth it. If you just want to try the game, just go ahead and get Origin Premiere. It's a no-risk issue. You spend $16, you get to try the game for a month. If you really like it, you can continue, or you can purchase the game outright. To be honest, there's so many options with this, and I really am glad that BioWare released this game and has a lot of heart in it. So if you're on the fence about this game and you're curious about it, or you want to see which way this game goes, go ahead and try it. Set up an Origin account and get into the game for a little while. If anything, you'll at least have a few fun stories and something fun you can do for a little while. At most, you may have a game that you'll love to come back to over and over again as time goes by. Is this game at its max potential currently? No, it's not. It's just launch. But this game does have a lot of potential, and from what we've seen from BioWare, they don't stop until they make sure they get all the right points hit. So, still, I would recommend this game. Also, some of you may have realized that I didn't touch up on microtransactions. That's because microtransactions in this game are cosmetic, and you can either pay for them, or you can pay for them with in-game currency. So there really isn't any real microtransactions. You can play to get the gear looks that you really want.
Hey, does this look like it's infected?
Hey, you know I'm kind of number one when it comes to laundry in this fort, right?
Where are you going with this, Neeson?
You learn certain truths when you launder, and I've discovered something I feel needs to be shared.
Don't tell me something I don't want to hear.
Commander Vool has the nicest underwear in Fort Tarsus.
Why, Neeson? Why would you tell me that?
Think about it. Commander Vool is an important military leader. What if our enemies find out he enjoys fancy monogrammed boxer shorts?
I'm going to pretend we never had this conversation.
Good thinking. Yeah, keep it on the down low. I get it.
I don't think you do, Neeson.
Am I gonna see you around?
I doubt it.
Maybe if I see you first, we'll talk again.
Only if you see me first.
Copy that. I'm gonna take that as a possible yes.